Let me walk you through with some example on how image and containers work, and this will give you a very high level overview on what image and container will do when we are working with Docker. Let's say in our example we want to host some static HTML pages on a container. For that we will require a server. So from Docker Hub we can find any existing image for server that will host an HTML page. Nginx is one of the example. So we can find that image from Docker Hub, and on that image we will have the base setup of the server, but then we will have to copy our HTML files on that image. Once you copy those HTML files, it will generate a new layer, and that will be our final image. We can save that. Now that final image we will deploy to basically a container, and once it is deployed to a container, then that image will be executed and our HTML pages will be visible in a browser. Now again, that is a 10,000 feet overview of a very simple example when we want to deploy some HTML pages in a container. Let me give you a more realistic example of when we want to deploy a .NET application. In order to host a .NET application, we will need the .NET SDK, and that will be our base image. We will get that from Docker Hub, and on that image we will move our project file. Once we copy our project file in that image, we can run the command .NET restore to restore all the NuGet packages on that CS proj file. And that will basically generate a new image. Let's say we call that as image1. After that we will copy all the project files and then run the command .NET build to basically build the project and generate an intermediate layer. Let me call that image2. Now finally we have all the build files in image2. We can run the command .NET publish, and that will generate the publishables in a new, or rather final image, where we will have the ultimate files that needs to be deployed and executed. So you can see we are going through layers here step by step to make sure we get the final files that we have to publish. After we have all the files in the final image, we can deploy that to a container, and then we can run the .NET command there to basically run the application. Now again, the reason to give these examples is not to scare you with all the steps, but rather I want to show you how layers work with image and how you deploy the final image to container in order to run your application. If you only keep a final image and never run that in a container, your web project will never be live. In order to see the final result, you have to run the final image in a container. I hope with that you have a basic idea of what image is, why it is used, how you can add layers on top of that. But if everything is not making sense right now, do not worry. As we continue with the course, I will go through everything step by step, and that will make complete sense.